Hello, my name is Jacob Rickman. If you are like me, then you are probably a teacher who has found that they are having to do distance learning. Just with everything that's going on in the world right now, it's safer for teachers to teach from home and for students to learn from home. And so we're finding that remote learning is going to become a much bigger thing for the next couple of weeks. Because of this, I wanted to share out some of the resources that I know I'm going to be using with my students to help them succeed and to help them still learn even as they are at home. Okay. The first one that I'm going to talk about today is Flipgrid. Probably the tool I use the most with my students a lot. So I want to talk about a couple of things today. One, I want to talk about how do you set up an account? How do we go about it? How do you set up grids and things? And then the second thing is, what are the types of prompts, types of resources you can use with Flipgrid? Okay. So to start with, this is Flipgrid's home page. Okay, if you just type flipgrid.com, it'll redirect you to this page. If you already have an account, then you can just click Educator Login. You go in, boom, your account will pop up. If not, you'd click Educator Sign Up. So I'd click on there, right? I've already have an account, so I'm already in, right? You would just go through, either use your Google account or use your own email address and go through that setup process. But once you're set up, you'll reach a screen that looks a little bit like this, where it'll say My Grids. Chances are it's going to be a lot emptier, simply because you haven't created things. Obviously, I have quite a few different grids and such, so, it'll look a little bit different, okay? To get started, what you can do, you can either click the Getting Started guide. Flipgrid has created a wealth of resources to use, and so feel free to look at it because they are honestly really awesome, right? But if you're just wanting to set up your own grid right from the get-go, have it go, then you just want to click Add New Grid. So you click on this, right? Name your grid. I'm just going to title this Example Grid, and then you can choose how you want students to join. Now, students have a Microsoft or Google school email, they have that set, and 100% they absolutely have to use that, you're welcome to click on this and use that. If you want to actually set up your students on their own and have them created a list for them already to utilize and have their own ID numbers to join, you can use that. Personally, I like the public and PLCs. Partly because it allows students to use different resources. So students may have to use their phones, they might have an assigned Chromebook or iPad. You don't necessarily know what device they're going to have, especially if you're not in a district that's one-to-one for students. So personally, I prefer the public and PLCs. Does it risk that students might be able to access it? Sure, but at that same time, there's ways around having it be, public. Now, obviously, this one, I'm going to set it up so it's public. So I'm going to just make the URL here. I'm going to set it up as Example Rickman 2020, right? So now what this means is, hey, this title is available. So that means that anytime a student, if they want to access this, I can either just send them a link. I can just put this whole web link into Google Classroom or send it out via an email, and students can click on it and they'll have access to that grid. So I'm going to click Next. Okay. One additional thing you can do is you can set up a password. So that way students cannot that random people cannot access it unless they have this password. So you can send that out. When you send out the link to students, you can say, hey, here's the link, here's also the password, and you can set that up. For this one, I'm not going to set up a password. I'm going to keep it really, really, really simple. So, all right, next. Hey, my grid is ready, right? So if I want to send this out, there's already a button. I can share to Google Classroom. I can share to Microsoft Teams. I can share on Remind. You can just copy and embed code. You can copy it here. There's a lot of different ways to share it out to your students, which is great. So I'm going to click Go to My Grid. Hey, look at this. So this is our example grid, right? Pretty basic, nothing too complicated or anything. Keeping it simple here. And they've actually already given us a topic. It says Say Hello on Flipgrid. This is a default topic that is always there, just for students to be able to say hello and share a fun fact about themselves, that sort of thing. Flipgrid does not have to be some sort of serious academic topic. It can be really, if you just want to have it be a place where you want students to share out who they are and share out what's going on with them right now, just kind of as a way to check in, you can do that, right? So if you take this topic, let's say you want to change it a little bit. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go to this pencil icon. It says edit topic. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm just going to share and say, share a fun fact about yourself. And I'm not going to add an emoji, but I'm just going to say, tell me how you are doing. There we go. Cool. Now, a couple of things. You can actually change the media. So let's say you have a thing that's called a focus. The focus can be a picture. It can be a web link. There's a lot of options. So I'm going to delete this focus. Yep, I'm going to delete it. Right? So you can actually record a video and make a video be your focus. You can upload a video, add a video if you've already had something recorded, already have something you have linked. You can use a picture. You can use a GIF. If you have that, you can have emoji, right? There's a lot of different options for different things you can add into there, right? Like I've used Newsy articles and embedded them in, have students read an article, and then they respond to it. There's a lot of different options, so it's kind of up to you. So this one, I'm going to add a GIF. I'm going to search for smile, right? There we go. Hey, there we go. Oh, that one's kind of creepy. We're going to pick the little happy little puppy here, right? Happy puppy. That's our focus. Right, if you want to give a tip, you can say, talk. Or let's say, tell me about yourself, right? Just a little tip. Helps your students know what they need to do. Keeps it pretty short. If you have any other attachments, you can add those in as well if it's something that's not already set up in there. So if you have a Google Doc or a Dropbox link or a YouTube video, if you have something else you want to add in that you didn't already put in as the focus, you can put that in there. A few other settings you have. One is moderation. So if I turn this on, what happens is when a student uploads their video, I have to approve for it to be visible to anybody else. It'll automatically be hidden from everybody else unless I go in and change something, right? But if I turn it off, anytime someone uploads a video, it'll automatically be there for students, right? This status, you can set how you want that topic to be. So for example, if you want it to be active, that means that people can go in and they can record their videos at any time. If you set it to frozen, that means that everyone can still view the videos, any videos that have already been created, but they cannot create new videos in that topic. And then hidden means nobody can see it but you. I'm going to set this to active. You can set student-to-student replies, so you can actually have people reply to each other. Right, so when a student creates one video, they can actually go in and create a response. So that can be good for discussion-based sort of questions or topics. Launch and freeze dates, if you want to set a certain date and say, hey, students, you can't access this after a certain date, you can do that if you so choose. And then some other video features. So students, once they have created their video, they can actually edit it a little bit. So they can add selfies, they can actually add videos, links into it and stuff. I'm going to set it to selfies only, just my personal thing. Students can add a video title. They can see how many views the video has received. Sticky notes, students can add sticky notes while they're recording. Personally, sticky notes are great if a student maybe doesn't have access to pen and paper where they are. They can actually go in and it'll paste a sticky note kind of up at the corner of their video. It won't show up in their video, but they can see it. So if they type something out, then they can use that to help read and be a little more confident with their voice. Video editing, students can kind of rearrange video clips and stuff. They can also stop and then start recording again if they so choose. And they can add an attachment link. Usually I turn that off. There's usually no need for attachment links. But if you're doing something that's much more academic, where students are like, hey, I'm recording this video and I'm using a source or something like that, there you go. And allow students to like other student videos, sure, why not? It doesn't affect anything. It's kind of fun, honestly. And then here you can change the type of feedback you want to do. Basic feedback is just, hey, you're responding to them and maybe helping them, giving them a few tips of what they could do better and stuff like that. It's usually nothing that major. So I'm going to update my topic here. And now my topic is visible. So let's say I want to share out this specific topic to students. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click share. Now, like before with the whole grid, I get a link. I can share it out to Google Teams, to Microsoft Teams, to Google Classroom, to Remind. I can click copy and then I just paste it to where I want to go and share it, right? Now, if you want to see what does this topic look like when a student is looking at it, you click here where it says view as student right next to Flipgrid. So if I click on this, it'll open a new tab. And then I can see this is kind of what the thing looks like. You see my name there. And this is the topic. So you see the little puppy, you see the topic. the way students are going to respond is then they click on this green plus. So if I click on that, all right, it'll ask me to log in, right? I can log in with that. I'm just going to click log in. Yay, login successful. And now, hey, look, now you have a me video, right? So I can either add a sticky note, right? So I can type stuff in here like I need help, cool, right? And then when I click record, this sticky note isn't going to show up in the video, but I can see it and I can use it to help me record. And delete that. And then show topic. So if a student is struggling to remember what their topic is, again, this doesn't show up in their video, but they can see it. And so that way, if they've forgotten, hey, what question am I supposed to be answering or something like that, they can just pull that right up and use it to answer, right? And you can just pop it off. You can set how long you need their video to be as well. That was another setting thing. I think I forgot to mention that. You can set how long. The automatic start is 1:30, which is usually a fairly decent length of time. You can go up to about 5 minutes. So you can't do like an unlimited. You can't record for like an hour on Flipgrid, but you can record something. There are some other options, right? You can add a video clip, audio, stuff like that, right? And you can set it to where students can add emojis and things like that onto, like, to cover their face and stuff like that if they're a little shy. Additionally, another thing I like to tell students is they are not required to show their face. Whether students just take their finger and plug up the camera to hide it, whether they turn the camera off, students don't have to show their face if they don't want to, right? So it's more up to you and what you want your recordings to look like, what you want your responses to look like. It's entirely your choice, okay? A couple other things I want to touch on that are actually really, really helpful. So I'm going to close this tab. We'll go back here. So notice up at the top here, we have these options up here, okay? I want to focus on these two here. The first one is #GridPals. So let's say you want to collaborate with other people on Flipgrid. Well, here, all of these green pluses, as you can see, it's really filling up here. These are all other educators who have set themselves as active, who are willing to communicate. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Zoom in, right? And so you can click and find different people all over, right? So like here's a person, right? And you can see who they are, right? And you can and then if you wanted to collaborate with them, you would click on here, right? It gives you options for how you might communicate with them and collaborate, right? So that's really useful if you want to collaborate with other teachers and add them as grid pals and stuff like that. The next thing is the Disco library. So let's say that you want to find a topic, that you're struggling to come up with some sort of academic topic. Well, luckily, Flipgrid has a whole wealth of resources. You can add stuff to here as well, of all kinds of different topics. It kind of shows the weekly hits. These are very topics that are very popular at this, for the week, right? But you can click anything. A lot of different companies have created things, Nearpod, vocabulary, right? And say you click on, let's say I click vocabulary. Now it's going to show me all of the topics that vocabulary has submitted that you can use. So let's say I want to add one to my grid here. So I'm going to click text structure. They've embedded a YouTube video into there, right? They give integration notes, meaning they'd help tell you, hey, this is what you can use this for. This is how you can be helpful, use it and everything. And then they also show, hey, this is the intended audience, this is the subject area, and also just some fun facts of how many times it's been used and how much engagement has it participated here. You can click this to add it to your favorites, and then you can also select a grid. So let's say I want to add it to my example grid. So I'm going to click add, and now I can go in. It's giving me the basic framework for the topic, and I can go in and edit things as I want. So if I want to change it to selfies only, if I want to, mess with some settings there, I can do that, right? All right, I'm going to cancel, right? And so there's a wealth of topics, and really all you have to do, let's say you want to search up a topic on US history. Okay, so you click enter. Okay, it says no topics found. We're going to clear, that's because I think I had that going. All right, US history, there we go, try again. There we go. So now it's found 1,338 topics for me, right? And I can click any one of these, and you may have to do some searching if you want to look for something specific within US history. But hey, look, this says his study of Nevada history. So if you're studying Nevada history, well then there you go. You could click on this and add it to your grid, and there you go, right? Okay? There's a whole host of resources available to you. Okay? I really hope that this video has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thank you very much for your time. Stay safe and don't get arrested.